underground city of reptilians, extraterrestrial aliens under Los Angeles, discovered in 1934. This is by Alexander Light, Humans Are Free. The enslavement of humanity by reptilians is not a joke, and as far back as the days of Atlantis and the ancient writings of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, and you can find the playlist of the videos I did on that. I've read the Emerald Tablets for you. It's on my playlist, Emerald Tablets. So from what he wrote, it's clear that beings from some other place than Earth invaded this planet, began taking over positions of leadership. And from what Thoth tells us in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, they take the form of humans, and they take the place of the rightfully elected leaders of each country, and they rule in their stead, having taken their form. It's like they're shapeshifters or something. Now, according to Emerald Tablets of Thoth 8, the key of mystery, it says, "In the form of man they among us, but only to sight were they, as are men, serpent-headed when the glamour was lifted, but appeared to man as men among men. Crept they into the councils, taking forms that were like unto men, slaying by their arts the chief of the kingdoms, taking over their form and ruling over man." An invasion of Los Angeles. Below are two extracts from the LA Times of 29th of January 1934, from the days before we had so much censorship of news, quote unquote, in the first of which reporter John Bosquet details the incredible story of G. Warren Shuffelt, a mining engineer who had been told of the underground city and its treasures by a wise old Indian, had consequently located it via radio X-ray, and was currently sinking shafts into the ground to reach it. Now, the second extract explains the whereabouts of the putative underground city on the map and provides the legends of a few photos showing Shuffelt hard at work. Engineer sinks shaft under Fort Moore Hill to find maze of tunnels and priceless treasures of legendary inhabitants. LA Times, 29 January 1939, by Jean Bosquet. Busy Los Angeles, although little realizing it in the hustle and bustle of modern existence, stands above a lost city of catacombs filled with incalculable treasure and imperishable records of a race of humans further advanced intellectually and scientifically than even the highest type of present-day peoples, in the belief of G. Warren Shuffelt, geophysical engineer, now engaged in an attempt to wrest from the lost city deep below the earth, below Fort Moore Hill, the secrets of the lizard people of legendary fame in the medicine lodges of the American Indian. So firmly does Shuffelt and a little staff of assistants believe that a maze of catacombs and priceless golden tablets are to be found beneath downtown Los Angeles, that the engineer and his aides have already driven a shaft 250 feet into the ground, the mouth of the shaft being on the old Banning property on North Hill Street overlooking Sunset Boulevard, Spring Street, and North Broadway. Legend supplies the clue. Shuffelt learned from the legend of the lizard people after his radio X-ray had led him hither and yon over an area extending from the public library on West 5th Street to the Southwest Museum on Museum Drive at the foot of Mount Washington. Quote, "I knew I was over a pattern of tunnels," the engineer explained yesterday. He said, "I had mapped out the course of the tunnels, the position of large rooms scattered along the tunnel route, as well as the position of deposits of gold, but I couldn't understand the meaning of it," end quote. Fire destroys all. According to the legend as imparted to Shuffelt by McLean, the radio X-ray has revealed the location of one of the three lost cities on the Pacific coast, the local one having been dug by the lizard people after the great catastrophe, quote unquote, which occurred about 5,000 years ago. This legendary catastrophe was in the form of a huge tongue of fire which came out of the southwest, destroying all life in its path, the path being several hundred miles wide. The city underground was dug as a means of escaping future fires. The lost city, dug with powerful chemicals by the lizard people, instead of pick and shovel, was drained into the ocean where its tunnels began, according to the legend. The tide passing daily in and out of the lower tunnel portals and forcing air into the upper tunnels provided ventilation and cleansed and sanitized the lower tunnels, the legend states. Large rooms in the domes of the hills above the city of Labyrinth housed 1,000 families, quote, in the manner of tall buildings, end quote, and imperishable food supplies of the herb variety were stored in the catacombs to provide sustenance for the lizard folk for great lengths of time as the next fire swept over the earth. City laid out like lizard. The lizard people, the legend has it, regarded the lizard as a symbol of long life. Their city is laid out like a lizard, according to the legend, its tail to the southwest far below 5th and Hope Streets, its head to the northeast at Lookout and Marta Streets. The city's key room is situated directly under South Broadway near 2nd Street, according to Sheffield and the legend. This key room is a directory to all parts of the city and to all record tablets, the legend states. All records were kept on gold tablets 4 feet long and 14 inches wide. On these tablets of gold, gold having been the symbol of life to the legendary lizard people, will be found the recorded history of the Mayans. On one particular tablet, the southwest corner of which will be missing, is to be found the record of the origin of the human race, quote unquote. Tablets photographed. Sheffield stated that he has taken X-ray pictures of 37 such tablets, 3 of which have their southwest corners cut off. Quote, my radio X-ray pictures of tunnels and rooms, which are subsurface voids, and of gold pictures with perfect corners, sides, and ends, are scientific proof of their existence, Sheffield said. However, the legendary story must remain speculative until unearthed by excavation. The lizard people, according to Macklin, were of a much higher type intellectually than modern human beings. The intellectual accomplishment of their 9-year-old child were the equal of those present-day college graduates, he says. So greatly advanced scientifically were these people that, in addition to perfecting a chemical solution by which they bored underground without removing earth and rock, they also developed a cement far stronger and better than any in use in modern times, with which they lined their tunnels and rooms. Hills enclosed city. Macklin said legendary advice to American Indians was to seek the lost city in an area within a chain of hills forming, quote, the frog of a horse's hoof, end quote. The contour of hills surrounding this region formed such a design, substantiating Sheffeld's findings. He said, Sheffield radio advice consists chiefly of a cylindrical glass case inside of which a plummet attached to a copper wire held by the engineer sways continually, pointing, he asserts, towards minerals or tunnels below the surface of the ground, and then revolves when over the mineral or swings in prolongation of the tunnel when above the excavation. He's used the instrument extensively in mining fields, he said. Now, did strange people live under sight of Los Angeles 5,000 years ago? An amazing labyrinth of underground passages and caverns, hundreds of feet below the surface of Fort Moore Hill, is revealed in the maps, all rights to which have been reserved, prepared by G. Warren Sheffield, local mining engineer, who explains his topographical endeavors as being based on results obtained from radio X-ray perfected by him. In this elaborate system of tunnels and rooms, according to a legend furnished Sheffield by an Indian authority, a tribe of human beings called the lizard people lived 5,000 years ago. The network of tunnels formed what Indians called the Lost Lizard City, according to Sheffield, and the legend, and gold tablets on which are written the origin of the human race and their priceless documents are to be found in the tunnels, according to the legend. Sheffield declares his radio X-ray has located the gold. The engineer has dug out a shaft 250 feet deep on North Hill Street, overlooking North Broadway, Sunset, and Spring Streets, and intends to dig to 1,000 feet in an effort to strike the lost city. Upper right-hand corner inset is Time Staff Artist Wing's conception of lizard people at work. And the lower left upper inset shows Sheffield and crew atop a shaft bailing water out of the deep excavation. Lower left inset shows Shuffle operating his radio X-ray device. This is by Stephanie Ralph. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth are from M. Doriel's book. This is on Humans Are Free by Alexander Light. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.